We'll get started. So welcome everyone. You are here for Math Foundations. If you're not, that's what we're doing today. I'm Chef Jessica. I'm one of the tutors here at Escoffier. We have Chef Laura as well with us.
Hi,
She will,
everyone.
she'll be manning the chat. Feel free to throw all your answers in the chat.
I
If
got
you have
good
any,
answers. That's good.
we got some Cowboy fans in here too.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I'm like, now I'm looking at the chat, throwing up all their NFL teams. But yeah, throw any questions you have in the chat, any of your answers. We are here to make sure you guys understand what's going on. And so if you don't, we want you to get there. So Math Foundations is a lot of math. We'll be kind of covering just your simple basic math principles. Today, we're really going to be focusing on rounding and how to round and what to do for rounding. Just to give you a rundown, because I know not everyone will need everything, and that's okay. Next week, we will be doing fractions, decimals, percents, how to get from one to the other. I know everyone's learned this stuff at some point, but if you haven't used it in 20, 30, 40, 50, it's a stretch years, you kind of forget it. And so this is just a refresher because you will be using all these principles throughout your courses here. And if you are rounding not right the whole time, it's going to be a lot of wrong answers for no reason. So week 3, we're going to be doing volume conversions, which is like cups, gallons, things like that, tablespoons, common kitchen conversions. Week 4, same conversions, but on the weight side. So it'll be more liters, ounces, pounds, grams, those type of things, and just kind of practicing those. So we're gonna get started. Let me get to the right screen and we can kind of go from there. And I do want to show you before we really jump in. Welcome if you're joining late. So math, I do want to show you and just point this out right from the beginning. I'll probably show you at the end too, just because that's just how sometimes that works. In your class page, if you have not been to, well, if you haven't been to your class page, that's a different problem. But in your start here section on whatever class you're in, you will find online tutoring. That is how you get to us. If you have not been here yet, I encourage you to explore. There's a lot of cool stuff on here. Scheduling a one-on-one session, that's a way to schedule a one-on-one session for some extra help. We are here to help you. So please, utilize us. We are just another tool at your disposal. If you're doing that, it's always in your time zone, something to note. Workshops, you are in Math Foundations on Sunday night. So this is kind of a calendar, changes every term just a little bit. So just be on the lookout for those changes. The Zoom links to join. So if you want help with just studying, baker's math, costing, submitting your assignments, writing, literally anything so far that we can think of, we have a workshop for. Zoom links to join those calls are all here as well. So you don't have to be invited. These are open to everyone. If you want to learn more about baker's math or costing or whatever, I encourage you to, because at some point you're going to need it, if not now, in the future. So these are great. We record all the workshops. This right now we are recording. So if you can't make it, but you still want the information, I definitely encourage you to go back, click on these. We upload the YouTube videos. The only difference, you can't really ask questions when you're watching the recording. But those are all here. This is the main purpose of me jumping over here. Digital flashcards. These Quizlets are fantastic. They are all basically what you need at this exact moment, and some. So a lot of these principles we'll be covering in here. We have flashcards made. And as you get into costing, we have some of those, some writing ones. Here's rounding. It's literally what we're covering today somewhat. So they're just there at your disposal. So use them, utilize them. Yeah, those are here for you. Also, if you didn't know, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but this is pretty cool. Natural Reader thing. That is an extension you can download to your Google Chrome, and it reads text to you. So if you're just better at hearing than visually reading, it'll read your textbook literally to you. So, which I think is cool. I know everyone here has a busy life. So some people like to listen to it while they're at work, or maybe like waiting for their kids or walking their dog. you can do that. So awesome tool. Anyway, back to why we're here. Math foundations. Covering some rounding principles. So what is rounding? It is literally just adjusting that number up or down to whatever value it's closer to. 0 through 4, you keep it the same. 5 and above, you round up. Now, this is going to sound really, really silly, but remember this. I promise this will help you. Think of 0 through 4 as your nice numbers. They're very, very nice. They're so nice, they don't make their neighbor change who they are. They let them stay who they are because they're so nice. 5 and above, or 5 through 9, are bossy numbers or mean numbers. They make their neighbor change who they are because they're so mean, they boss them around and they force them to change. I know that sounds silly to some of you, and some of you are probably shaking your head or laughing at me, and that's okay, because it is kind of silly. But if you struggle with this, that will really help you remember it. And as you're going forward, you're going to see a 5, because everyone always questions the 5. You're going to see this 5, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's right. 5's mean. 5s are mean and terribly mean. So that has to change. That is the gist of rounding. Now, don't worry, we'll kind of get more involved. We'll practice some. One of the big things about rounding is knowing your place value. So it's really hard to round to the nearest hundredth if you don't know which one's the hundredth, or round to the nearest whole number if you don't know which one's the whole number. So knowing your place values, if you don't, that's okay. I'm going to pause it right here. Take a picture of this. If you do not know this because you just don't know it, that's okay. Take a picture of this right now, because this will help you, or write it down. I guess you don't have to take a picture. If you write down notes too, that helps. But kind of looking at it, anything to the left of a decimal is a whole number. So that's like your whole number, or when we're talking money, like your whole dollar. So whole numbers, you got your hundreds, you got your tens, you got your ones. Majority of the time, the whole numbers aren't the issue. It's when we get to the right of the whole numbers that people start getting a little crazy. So are we good with whole numbers? If not, stop me. I don't know how I can help, but stop me. You can raise your hand, throw a little hey in the chat. If you are nervous of talking, well, one, just don't be. Feel free to throw out anything at us. Or if you are shy, that's cool too. That's why the chat's here. That tutor page I showed you also has mine and Chef Laura's number and email. So if you are just that nervous, shy person, that's okay. We do not mind. Message us privately. We are here to help you and make sure you are good. So do not hesitate there to literally any of us on there. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So we got our whole numbers. That's to the left of the decimal. So some of the questions you'll see will be like round to the nearest whole. That is your whole number. When we're talking rounding, whatever value place you're looking at, you're always going to look at that value, whatever it's asking for, and you look to one digit to the right. So if you're looking for your whole number, you would look one digit to the right. That digit determines what you do to the left. Looking at your place values to the right of a decimal, anything to the right of a decimal is a partial number or a part of a whole. This is a good way to help you kind of just remember which one's which. So your first one is your tenths with a THS on the end. And the reason there's no 1 here is because it's a part of a whole. So looking at this, we have this 4 or 0.4. That is 4 tenths. So 4 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 wholes. Or if we're talking money, that would be 40 cents out of your dollar. So this is a part of your whole number. So when you see that first number, it's basically that divided by 10. So this is kind of getting into the fractions and stuff. I'll do that more next week. But if you did 4 divided by 10, you get 0.4 or 4 tenths, as you would say it out loud. The next one, you have hundreds, or in this example, 45 out of 100, 45 hundredths. So it's like 45 out of 100 if 100 was your whole number, kind of the gist there. Same idea. You'll never really be doing this, but it really helps. I guess I'm a visual person. 45 divided by 100, because we're in the hundredths, and we get 0.45. So that's how you'd say it. That's how you would see it. Think of it as 45 cents out of that dollar. As you get into your costing class here shortly, I know some of you will be in there maybe next term or 2 terms from now. A lot of the stuff in costing will say round to the nearest cent. Just know that hundredth is also your nearest cent, because that's your penny. Thousandths is your next spot, or 456 out of 1,000, because it's still a partial of a number, part of a whole. How are we with the placement? Any questions? Well, that's great, because I'm going to have some questions for you. So, and again, feel free to stop me, throw it out loud, throw it in the chat. What place is the 9 in? Out of our place value. Anyone want to answer?
Tenths.
The 9?
Yeah.
The 9 is the ones place. So, because it's to the left of that decimal, it's a whole number. And if it was by itself, we just had the number 9 by itself, it's a single number, right? Are we good with that? How about the 7? I'll refer back to my chart.
The 10th. In the 10th place.
Yeah, yep, the 7s and the 10s. 10s, 1s, and then how about that 3? What's that 3 in?
All right.
Tenths. That's one
Tenths.
thing to, yeah, with the THS, now the tens, they're different. The THS is a partial of a whole. So just remember that. That's an easy way to remember it. Let's try this example. What place is the 8 in?
10th.
Yeah. How about what place is the 9 in?
Hundredths.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Nice job. How about what place is the 3 in?
Hundredths.
Yeah, nice job. How about the 4?
10th.
Yep. How about the 5?
1.
Perfect. How's everyone feeling with this? Let's try, now that we kind of are more familiar with those numbers, place values, let's try rounding some. Something to note, and I guess, I don't know if I've said this, I literally say this all day, every day. So sorry if I already said it once in this, but you get to hear it again. Read the question. I cannot stress that enough. I know it sounds very, very simple and very easy, but like on your knowledge checks, on your conversion checks, in your costing class, in any class, on any of those checks, read the question fully. Make sure you're answering the question to whatever format it's asking. If it's asking to the nearest tenth or the nearest whole number for what I'm telling you today, or maybe it's asking you a percent or to round to the nearest this, or to answer in like, what is this in ounces? Just always make sure you're answering the question in whatever context it's asking. Tanya, you have a question?
Yes, will this be recorded? I'm at work and I'm gonna have to go back to work. But will there be a recording of this?
Yep, the recordings are all in the tutor page. You can get there from your Start Here section. Towards the bottom, workshop archive. Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. Happy you could
All
join
right.
us for a minute.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so let's try some problems. What is this number rounded to the nearest tenth? Feel free to say it out loud, throw your answers in the chat.
80.
Well, that's not right, but how about someone else?
Would it stay at 95?
96.
So this is interesting. So we're doing the first problem here. So we want to round to the
90,
nearest.
95, 90. I mean, 95, 80.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Nice job, Kiana. Perfect.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, so how we got there, we want to round to the nearest 10th. So your first thing would be to find your 10th spot, which is why we just kind of went over that placement value. So your 10th spot would be this 8. That's your 10th. So to find the nearest 10th, you look at your 10th, you look digit to the right. This 3 determines what you do to the 8. Because a 3 is a nice number, that 8 has to stay the same. So your answer would be, now I'm going to actually put it in here, 95.8 would be it rounded to the nearest 10th. Now let's try this number rounded to the nearest whole number. So this is what I mean by making sure you're reading that question fully, because some people answered this question to the first one. It's not that you're wrong, you were doing it right, you're just answering the wrong question. So you always want to make sure you're answering it in whatever format.
So it'll be 100.
No, I see.
96.
Yeah, that's right. Nice job. I'm going to say your name wrong too.
96.
Mauricio. Nice. Nice job. It would be 96. So when you're looking at a whole number, whoops, jump and chip, your whole number is anything left of this decimal. So because we're looking at the left of the decimal, we're looking at the 5. You look to the 8 to determine what you do to the 5. So when we're rounding, we're really looking at it as, like for a whole number, for instance, for this problem, is this 95.83? Is it closer to 96 or is it closer to 95? That's what rounding is. That's what you're determining. This 8 means it's closer to being 96 than it is to being 95. I don't know your first name. It says C down. I'm assuming that's not your first name, but did you have a question?
Charity.
Charity, yeah.
So, okay, I have a question. So,
Mhm.
okay, is this still the same as like they taught us basically in high school? Like if it's 5 or lower or 5 or higher, it goes up, and then 5 and lower stays same. Okay,
It's exactly that, yes.
okay.
It hasn't changed. It's the same exact thing. Yeah, it's just a refresher because if you haven't used it since then, you kind of forget. And
Yeah,
the
it's
5s,
only been 11 years.
yeah, see, that's not even that much time. I know there's some people who are probably listening who are like, wow, it's been like 30 years since I learned this. And that's okay. You know, we're all kind of, Escoffier being an online program is a lot of people who aren't fresh out of high school. And that's what makes it so great and versatile for everyone. But that's why we cover this, because your chef is going to expect you to know how to round. And if you don't, that's okay. We'll work on it. But yeah, it's the exact same thing. I can't stress enough to make sure you're answering it in the right one. So if it's asking for the 100th or the 10th or the whole number, always make sure you're rounding that way. So yes, this would be 96 if we were running the whole number. Let's try this problem. So first one, what is this rounded to the nearest 100th? So your first step is always to find which value that is. So your 100th value is this 5. And it wants you to round. So what would your answer be?
3.55.
Yeah. Yep. Nice job. Is that what everyone else was thinking? Nice. Yep. Because the 4 is nice, stays the same. How about the same number rounded to the nearest whole number?
Or
36.
4.0.
Yeah, it is 4. The answer would be 4. Because your whole number is to the left. So you look to this first 5. That 5 is 5 and up. 5s are mean bossy numbers. Forces the 3 to change who it is to a 4. How about, let's try this one. What is 350.768 rounded to the nearest hundredth?
400. Oh, no, that's for the whole number.
I like where your head was at with that one, but yeah, hundredth with the TH.
358.77.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Nice job. So you'd look at the 6. That 6 or you look at the 6, that's your hundredth value. The 8 is above 5 and above, so it makes that 6 change to a 7. So it'd be 350.77. How about the same problem, but rounded to the nearest whole number?
Three hundred fifty-one.
Yeah, nice job, guys. Perfect. So let's kind of touch base here. I skipped one. Let's not do that. Let's do it. I know we all need practice. So let's try this last one before I move on. Not that we're really moving on, it's just more explaining. But let's try this number rounded to the nearest whole number.
398.
Perfect. Nice job. Everyone knows how we got there? Hopefully. All right. That 8 whole number, your 3 next to it, stays the same. How about the same question rounded to the nearest hundredth?
398.38.
Perfect. Nice job. And I did see, who is that? Cheryl in the chat. That text to read, I'm going to pause it real quick before we jump to this. That text to read thing was on the tutor page at the very bottom. It's called Natural Readers. It is an extension in Google Chrome, so you do have to download it, but it basically reads text to you. Hope that answers. But back to this, it's same rounding principles. And I do want to just point out, regardless if you're rounding money, if you're just rounding, if you're rounding percents, whatever you're rounding, the rounding principles are the same. It's just a matter of where you're rounding to. So when you're talking money, it's going to say round to the nearest cent. The nearest cent is your hundredth place because we don't have less than that in a penny. Like we have a penny. That's our hundredth. Just some examples I threw up. If you had 0.312, that'd be 31 cents. Yeah, same rounding principles, exact same thing. I just want to explain it with the money principles because sometimes it'll say round to the nearest cent. Just know your cents and hundredths are interchangeable. Let's see, how are we good with this? How are we feeling? So far, so good? Hopefully.
There's no questions in the chat.
Okay, I'm like, hopefully, no one's saying anything.
They're
I'm really,
quiet.
I really am bad with like awkward silence. So like sitting here and waiting for you guys to say something's really hard for me. So just interrupt me if you have a question. Because I'm really bad with just pausing and waiting. At some point, I'm like, I'm just going to start singing like Jeopardy because I can't do silence. I don't know. It must be my brain. But let's try some examples with money, dollars, cents. So what is this in dollars rounded to the nearest cent? 1.58341.
$1.58.
Nice job. That's exactly right. Perfect. Is that what everyone else was getting to? Good. I don't see anyone shaking their head at me. How about this? So again, just reading it fully. When you see this, I'm asking in dollars, not asking you in cents. So what is 4.9878 in dollars?
$5.
Yeah, Nice job. I didn't trick you. I kind of explained my trick though, so it's easier. I like tricking you guys sometimes. I don't know why, but sometimes I don't get anyone, and then now you have to make them harder. So what is 89.3559 in dollars to the nearest cent?
$89.36.
It'd be 36 cents. Perfect. Nice job, Curtis. How about what is 2.33333 rounded to the nearest whole dollar?
$2.
Nice job.
Still $2.
Is everyone else getting that? Understands where he got that answer from? If not, holler, let us know, let somebody know. We want to
I'm
make sure
good.
you understand.
I'm good.
Good, awesome. How about what is 89.99249 rounded to the nearest dollar?
$90.
Dang, I didn't even get you on that one. Nice job. I'm like, these nines always throw somebody off. Come on. It would be 90. Yeah. All right. So when we're rounding percents, it's the same thing. Don't let it throw you off. There's literally just a percentage on the end. So sometimes it'll say round to the nearest whole percent or the nearest tenth or hundredth. Same thing, same principles. Just because it says percents, don't let that throw you. So again, we're going to do some examples, but with that great percentage in there. What is 44.12% rounded to the nearest whole percent?
44.
Nice job. Yeah, perfect.
I'm sorry, did he say 44%?
He did.
Okay,
Is that what you got?
yeah.
Perfect. Glad we're all on the same page. How about this one? 2.3956% rounded to the nearest hundredth percent.
2.40%.
Yeah, see, I didn't get anyone there either. I'm like, if you got it wrong, tell me. No. I'm like, no one wants to be like, yeah, I totally screwed that one up, chef. You never get that. But that one is a harder one because, yeah, you're looking at this 9. That 5 makes it go up, but a 9's the highest number. So then this has to move up too. So it's 2.4 or yeah, 2.4% or 2.40. Let's try this one. 382.84% rounded to the nearest hundredth percent.
382.80.
Yeah, I got somebody. That is not right. I'm sorry to celebrate.
Well, the 100%, there's nothing to the right of it. So
That's
it's
exactly
the number is what it is.
that is the answer. It's the same answer. It's a trick question. You can't round to the 100th percent. You're already at the 100th percent. Perfect.
I'm lost.
That's okay. This one was meant to lose you. So if this is where you waited to get lost, we're doing good. So the question was asking to the nearest 100th percent. Well, your 100th percent is where this 4 is. There's nothing else there. So your answer is already, like, the question is already in the 100th percent. So your answer would be 382.84%. You will never have this question on your test, or at least not to my knowledge, but I do like to throw it out there because then it makes you think about it. And at least if you're ever brought in this situation, you know it, you're already there. And that's a lot of just knowing your place values. So knowing this 4 is your 100th and that you're already in your 100th percent is really all that is. So did that help explain it a little bit?
Okay, so that means it's 382.84 doesn't
Yep.
change or, okay. Yep,
Yep.
got it now.
Yep, that's exactly it. It's a trick question. How about the same number but rounded to the whole percent?
383.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Nice job. Was that Lori?
Yeah.
Nice job, Lori. Cheryl, to answer your question, yes. You can always, and I should have said that at the beginning, this and in your class and on your knowledge checks and in everything Escoffier related, you can always use your calculator. I encourage you to use your calculator. It's almost silly not to. It's another tool at your disposal, and you're gonna use a calculator in the real world. I mean, if you think of like the culinary industry, if you're doing something in the kitchen and we're talking, you know, money and dollars and serving people and stuff like that, you're gonna want to be accurate. And whoever your boss is would rather you use a calculator and get it right. That's a great question. So one thing to note at the end of this, now that you all understand rounding, hopefully a little bit better, or have a refresher if you already knew it and you just forgot it because it's been some time. The only time you do not round at all is when you're talking portions and serving sizes. Those, then anything to the right of that decimal just falls off, drops off completely. You're not going to serve somebody a partial portion or part of a serving. So anytime the question, which I don't think any of you are there yet, but I want to point this out. Anytime there's a question that says like, how many servings can we get? How many portions do we have? You're never going to serve a partial portion. And to give you a better explanation, I made a visual of a pasta dish. I don't know why. This is a really bad example because you're never actually like plating 0.75% of a pasta dish, but you get the gist. So if you had, let's say 2.75 servings, even though we just learned 7.5, that 7 we would round up, you don't when you're talking servings and portions, because you're not going to give somebody this 0.75 portion and call it a full thing. You're going to just say you have 2 servings. Does everyone get this?
I get it.
Got it.
Cool. This always throws somebody off. So if it's throwing you off, that's okay. No big deal. We'll get you there. And essentially, anytime you're just talking servings, portion sizes, just know anything to the right falls off. 5.2 cookies would be 5 cookies. I also like to think of this little, whatever is to the right of that decimal is chef's food, because that's for me to eat. They're going to tell you not to, but you're going to end up eating it. I promise you. How are we feeling with this?
Good.
Feeling good? Do we want to do some more practice, or what would you guys like? I have, like I said, we have those Quizlets we can do. We have a worksheet I can do. Totally up to you.
Let's try Quizlet.
Yeah, I like the Quizlets. Good call, Lori. Quizlets are my favorite.
Anytime. I'm here all week.
Perfect, me too. So let's see. So what number is in the hundreds place?
The 6.
Nice job. Perfect. Again, feel free to throw your answers in the chat, say them out loud.
The 7.
Yeah, what number is in the 10th place?
7.
Yeah. Got a couple 7s. Nice job, everybody. How about this one? What is 12.1999 rounded to the nearest whole number?
12.
12.
You guys might be right. About what is 5.6222 rounded to the nearest whole number?
6.
Dang, you're fast on that one. It's like Jeopardy. You didn't even let me finish reading the question. Come on. You're right, though. Everyone else get 6? Nice job. How about this one? What is 48.9122% rounded to the nearest hundred? Forgot to put a percent on that. Really bad at grammar, so please do not check my grammar of these flashcards. That's why I'm in the math class.
48.91, 48.91.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because that one, there's a 2 next to it. 2 is a nice number. See, I even forgot the percent there. It's going to bother me. I always find something whenever I do this, something I screwed up. So just bear with me. What
78.
is- yeah, see, didn't even let me, I'm going to finish reading the question first. You're wrong because I haven't finished reading. What is 78.1989 rounded to the nearest whole number?
78.
There it is. Same answer. You guys are right. How about this one? What is 97.1911 rounded to the hundredth? And I put percent there. It's not a percent, but you get the gist.
97.19.
Perfect. Is everyone else getting that too?
Yes, ma'am.
Nice job. How about what is 76.2873 rounded to the nearest whole number?
76.
Mm-hmm.
Job. You're getting it. You guys are all getting it, or at least the ones answering are. Again, if you're suffering in silence, let me or Chef Laura know, please, or anyone else here. We want to make sure you guys are doing good and understanding everything.
Hey,
And I
Jessica.
don't. Yeah, what's up, Laura?
I'm sorry, there's a question in the chat, but I'm not sure of the answer because I'm not sure who's going to make you do math in a job interview, but they want to know if you take a calculator to a job interview.
Do you take your phone to a job interview? Probably, but is it on in your hand? Probably not. So I would say you don't take it with you, but they're not going to make you do math during an interview. And if they are, that's weird. I don't know. I guess I've had, like, in the culinary world, I've had working interviews. They're called stages, where you
Yeah.
work for a day. So that's kind of like an interview. But again, if I was being told to do math, like, here, do this recipe, multiply it by 4, I would pull out my phone or do it with a calculator. I mean, you'd rather it be right and be accurate than screw it up.
Mhm.
And your employer is going to feel that way too. So, I mean, I use my calculator at work literally all the whole day, all the time. So, and that's okay. I'd rather be right than mentally trying to do math and do it wrong and cost them money. So, but I don't think you're really going to be interviewed math questions. If anyone ever is, I'll be curious to hear about it. Well, that's a good question though. I mean, it's just always at your disposal to use. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. The employers with your phone at work. No, and that's true, especially in the kitchen culinary industry. And if that's the case, you should just have a calculator in the kitchen where you're working.
Absolutely.
For these instances. Because it's not so much about like you being on your phone or like protocol. It's literally going to cost them money if you screw up. So they want you to be as accurate as possible. I mean, that sounds really bad the way I said it, but you get the point. It really boils down to money and being accurate and not costing your boss more money. So, but let's do some more examples while we got some time still. What is 29.2499 rounded to the hundredth? See, I put percent again. There's no percent. You get the point.
29.25.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, as long as we're rounding, right? It doesn't matter if it says percent or not, right? How about what is 13.9167 rounded to the hundredth?
13.92.
Yeah, Curtis, you're doing good.
Thanks.
How about what is 57.7832 rounded to the nearest tenth?
7.8.
Dang, Didn't even trick anyone on that one. Nice job. Like I haven't asked you a 10th one in a minute. Didn't even miss a beat. How about 29.451 rounded to the nearest whole number?
29.
29.
Yeah, nice job. That one's a tricky one. Oh, whoa. Hey. Oh, like, what did I do? You didn't see nothing. We're back. Let's see. Round this number to the nearest cent.
45 cents.
26.45.
Yeah. 26.45.
Bingo.
Exactly. How about this one? How many servings portions can you get from 98.911?
Only
98.
98.
98? No one said 99? No one
98.
even thought it?
Mm.
Good. That one always got me. But we're so close. Can't you just pretend? No, you can't. How about how many servings portions can you get from 4.689?
4.
4.
Yep. How about round this to the nearest cent?
45.
45.29.
Yep, you'll want to make sure, I don't know who said that, but you always want to make sure you're going to the nearest cent when it asks, or the nearest whole dollar if it asks. Because yeah, either way, you're right though. I mean, your rounding's not wrong, but just always answering that question in the format they're asking. Round this to the nearest cent.
2.97.
2.97.
Yeah, nice job, guys. You guys are doing great. How about how many servings portions can you get from 3.576? 3?
3.
Yep, 3.
Job. You guys are all getting it. What is 76.893 rounded to the nearest tenth?
That would be 76.1.
76.9.
1.
Yeah, 76.9. See that again? That 8 is your 10th. 9 makes it go up. Nice job. How about this one? What is 453.7674 rounded to the nearest tenth?
453.8.
Yeah, it would be 0.8. Nice job, whoever was saying that. Perfect. Well, that is about all we have for you guys today, but I mean, everyone who was answering or throwing things in the chat, everyone seemed to be getting the hang of it. For those of you who weren't answering or throwing in the chat, how are you guys all feeling? Good, thumbs up, head nods. All your blank faces that I just see names, you guys are all good too?
This is a big old smile. I like that.
Nice. Everyone's good? Cool. Well, does anyone have any other questions?
You
Oh,
said
there's
something
our
about-
face. There's more faces. I love faces. I don't know if you guys have ever talked in a Zoom call before and there's no faces and just a bunch of names, but you all know there's faces staring at you. It's terrible. Please show your face if you're around or if you're not like listening at work. We love seeing your faces.
Okay, my question is, you said something about worksheet, the worksheet?
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, actually, so I've made a worksheet. You don't have access to it. I can email it for rounding. I can email it to you. If you want to throw your email in the chat, I will be able to grab those from there. Email anyone who wants that worksheet for rounding. Definitely. Just more practice. Doesn't hurt, but if you don't need it, I really am not offended by any means. But yeah, just throw your email up in that chat and I will make sure I email it over to you if I have your email.
They're putting them in the chat.
Awesome. Oh, Jenny, I've already emailed you. I think I sent you that email already. It's the same worksheet.
I will check my spam because I haven't got anything.
Ooh, I sent it today.
Oh,
I
okay,
was
that's
late.
probably why I didn't get it.
I was gonna say, I remembered today. I was like, oh shoot, I didn't send that to Jenny.
Thank
So I'm
you.
sorry. Yes. But it's the same worksheet that I was going to send out anyone who wants it. It's just rounding practice, really.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Anyone else have any other questions about anything or rounding? Same time next week, we will be covering fractions, decimals, percents. Again, as always, these are always recorded. So if you can't make it, I mean, I love for you to make it. You could answer questions, ask questions, get a better understanding, but the archives are great too. And actually, because I have a second, and we all have a second, I'm going to jump back over. So in your class page, regardless of which class you're in your start here section, start here, drop down, that's where you'll find online tutoring. That is our page. That's how you can book a session with us if you didn't know this yet. These sessions are always in your time zone. You do not have to do time zone math, which is really cool because time zone math is so much harder than it should ever be. It seems so easy and like you just know, but you don't. I screw it up all the time. I don't understand how or why, but it is. It's such a struggle. So anyway, weekly workshops. I already showed some of you guys this or at the beginning, but for those who join late, here's our schedule of our workshops. This changes a little bit each term, but we offer them every term. Here's all the Zoom links to join those calls and when they are. You're in Math Foundations. And this is where you'll find the recordings of them too. So this will be up in Math Foundations. Literally, I usually post them as soon as I'm done because I'll forget if I don't do it right away. So usually within like 10, 15 minutes after my workshops are done, they're always loaded up because yeah, it's just not going to happen later. Flashcards. This is that natural reader thing I mentioned. Has nothing to do with math, but it's a great tool. Just for anyone who wants better comprehension, is better at listening, audio type stuff. That's how you can get your textbooks to read to you, which is really cool. And you can change the voice. So you can make it like spoken a British accent, which is very entertaining in itself. But yeah, just kind of wanted to show that to everyone who missed it at the beginning. So that's all I really had for everyone today. So